The Young and the Restless, Y&R, spoilers update for Tuesday, February 10th, reveals that Kane Ashby, Billy Flynn, will face two betrayals while Victor Newman's, Eric Braeden, plan hits an unexpected snag. Victor will start off feeling good about the situation since he successfully backed Kane into a corner. With Kane willing to stand down and transfer Newman ownership back to Victor, it'll feel like a major win for the Newmans. However, it's never a good idea to celebrate until it's truly a done deal. Phyllis Summers, Michelle Stafford, and Billy Abbott, Jason Thompson, will band together as surprising allies, so they'll join forces on a plot to betray Kane. Kane is willing to give Newman Enterprises back if Victor proves his family has been released. Victor might demand Newman first and then promise Lily Winters, Crystal Khalil, will walk free along with the twins. Whatever the case, Y&R spoilers say Victor's goal of getting his company back may not be so simple. Phyllis will stir up some trouble with Billy's help, so she may find a way to block Kane from making this transaction happen. Phyllis is a woman of many talents, so she might cut Kane out of the picture entirely somehow. Perhaps Phyllis and Billy will be in charge by the end of all this, which could leave both Kane and Victor fuming. No matter how it all goes down, Victor may have to announce some bad news to his family instead of the huge win he was hoping for. Across town, Sharon Newman, Sharon Case, will feel terrible about not stepping up for Mariah Copeland, Cameron Grimes, when it really counted. Mariah called Sharon in tears and hoped her mom would come see her at the clinic in Boston, but Sharon just didn't feel like she could leave Noah Newman, Lucas Adams, after his accident. Now Sharon's going to deal with more regrets since she missed her window to stop Mariah's mental break. Sharon might have seen the warning signs if she'd been there for Mariah and paid more attention to what she was up against. Of course, Sharon did the best she could under difficult circumstances. Noah needed Sharon in that moment too, so no one can blame her for choosing to stay by her son's side when he was in a coma. Nevertheless, the Young and the Restless spoilers say Sharon will feel like this is her fault as she hopes for some positive Dominic Winters, Ethan Ray Clark, updates. The air in Genoa City was thick with deception and desperate gambles on Tuesday, as loyalties were tested, hidden agendas collided, and the fallout from a single photograph threatened to unravel multiple lives. At the center of the storm was Kane Ashby, a man playing a dangerous double game, whose actions created ripples that reached from the corporate towers of Newman Enterprises to the troubled halls of the Chancellor estate. Kane's calculated betrayals, a web of his own making. Kane's day was a masterclass in duplicity, defined by two critical betrayals with two very different targets. His first and most chilling act was against his own wife, Lily. In the stark, modern confines of the Chancellor Winters boardroom, a tense strategy session about the ongoing battle with Victor Newman was underway. Devon and Lily were passionately debating their next move, their trust in each other as solid as ever. Kane, however, was a vortex of silent anxiety. When Lily laid out a bold, aggressive plan aimed at exposing a perceived weakness in Victor's latest financial maneuver, Kane knew he had to act. With a performance worthy of an award, Kane argued against the plan. He called it too risky, a potential disaster for family cohesion, and skillfully preyed on Lily's latent fears about fracturing their hard-won peace. His arguments were slick, coated in faux concern for the family legacy. Devon, sensing something off but unable to pinpoint it, was reluctantly swayed by Lily's eventual hesitation. The aggressive plan was shelved. The moment the meeting adjourned, Kane retreated to a vacant office, his hands trembling slightly as he sent encrypted text, "Plan Alpha delayed. She proposed a direct strike on the Gibraltar accounts. I neutralized it. Awaiting next instructions." The recipient was none other than Victor Newman. Kane's second betrayal was against his supposed benefactor, Victor. Later, under the guise of a security consultation, Kane was summoned to the Newman ranch. Victor, enthroned behind his desk, was brusque. "You did adequate work stalling Lily," he grumbled. "But adequate isn't enough. I need you to plant a specific piece of misinformation in their next board packet. A falsified liquidity report that will send them chasing shadows for a week." This was a step too far for Kane. Planting a passive lie was one thing. Actively fabricating data that could materially harm Chancellor Winters and potentially break Lily's spirit was another. In that moment, Kane's love for Lily, the real, enduring force beneath all his machinations, flared up. He couldn't do it. But telling Victor no was not an option. So, he lied. He looked the Titan in the eye and agreed. Consider it done, Victor. The data will be in the packet by Thursday. It was a blatant falsehood, a betrayal of the ruthless pact he'd made with the devil. He left the ranch knowing he had just double-crossed the most dangerous man in Wisconsin, with no clear exit strategy in sight. Victor's plan hits a snag, an unseen photograph. Victor, meanwhile, believed all his pieces were moving perfectly. His confidence was palpable as he met with Michael Baldwin in the Newman Enterprises legal suite. He outlined, in broad strokes, his intent to fully dismantle the Chancellor Winters challenge. They're emotional, Baldwin. Vulnerable. And we have an asset in place, Victor smirked, alluding to Kane. Michael, ever the conscience, cautioned him. Victor, this scorched earth approach with your own family. The collateral damage is piling up. Are you sure the prize is worth the cost? Victor waved him off. His plan was in motion. However, what he didn't know was that a digital ghost from the past was about to haunt his present. Across town, at the Grand Phoenix, Noah Newman was finally piecing together the metadata on the mysterious photograph of his mother, Victoria, looking distressed outside a Swiss clinic. His tech-savvy friend had made a breakthrough. The photo was not taken by a random paparazzo. It was sourced from a private, encrypted server owned by a shell corporation with a digital footprint that, after layers of peeling back, bore the hallmarks of Victor Newman's own cybersecurity protocols. Noah sat back, stunned. He had her followed. He orchestrated this leak. The revelation was devastating. Victor's plan to control the narrative by exposing Victoria's past crisis himself, a plan he believed was proceeding in secret, had hit a catastrophic snag. Noah now possessed the truth, and the weapon it represented was not in Victor's hands, but in those of a son whose disillusionment with his grandfather was now complete. Lily's instinct and the Devon dilemma. Back at Chancellor Winters, Lily was unsettled. She replayed the board meeting in her head, focusing on Kane's uncharacteristic interference. It wasn't his caution that bothered her, it was the specific, almost rehearsed way he dismantled her idea, targeting her emotional connections rather than the financial logic. A seed of doubt, tiny but persistent, was planted. She sought out Devon, finding him on the Crimson Lights patio. "Did Kane seem off to you today?" she ventured.